For centuries here in the Northwest, there have been stories of a hairy, half-man, half-ape that lives in the wilderness. We call him Bigfoot. The natives call him Sasquatch. But whatever you call him, it sure makes for a good story, and it makes for a good excuse for a party for the people of Whatcom County in Northwest Washington, where there have been numerous sightings over the years. Tonight, John Yeager and photographer Jim Bolzer take us up to Mt.Baker as we begin a three-part series on the legend of Bigfoot.
Whatcom County, Washington, in the shadow of 10,000-foot-tall Mt.Baker, near the Canadian border. This is home to as much natural beauty as you can imagine. But is it home to Bigfoot?
There's a lot of belief, because a lot of people in the area have seen something, mostly in the summertime.
In fact, if you stick around long enough, Bigfoot will walk right across the road for you. There he is. And there's another. Well, that all has to do with the Bigfoot look-alike contest.
It's the second annual Bigfoot at Baker Festival.
And a three-day celebration of the legend.
Big crowd on hand.
And the possibility.
And it gets underway in just a few minutes.
That Bigfoot really does live up there in the hills.
Are folks here in Whatcom County serious about Bigfoot? Well, you decide. The county council recently passed a resolution that sets aside the entire county as a Sasquatch refuge area.
This is Bigfoot, yeah.
Where the big guy can toss back a cold beer.
There's none left.
And maybe smoke a cigarette, and no one will hold it against him.
There's one smoking up there just because he come into civilization.
Still, you have to expect a little attention when the prize for best costume is $200.
We're glad to have you here tonight.
Festival Chairman Al Magnuson figured they'd have more entries this year.
We thought we would have at least a half a dozen, but...
Well, they're hard to scare out of the woods.
They're hard to scare out of the woods, that's true.
The judging categories are simple. They're going to judge on...
convincing, originality, humorous, effort.
Whether it's friendly or scary, by the looks of it, there's some very, very convincing-looking big feet. Would that be, that'd be
big
plural
feet, yeah.
for Bigfoot? Would be big feet?
How tall is this Bigfoot?
And when it was all over...
8.5 feet.
8.5 feet.
They had a winner.
Brown Sasquatch, first place.
And probably more important, they had another chapter in the Bigfoot legend book. What's the winner's real name?
Sasquatch.
Sasquatch. That's his name? And where are you from?
Saskatoon.
Well, what did you expect? He's been in the woods a long time. John Yeager, News 4, Positively Northwest.
I'll give you one last chance. Anyone want to get out here and have a picture with Bigfoot? Anyone at all?
I saw Elvis, too. Wednesday on Positively Northwest, John will tell us about a man who says Bigfoot is more than legend. We'll share some Bigfoot stories around the campfire. That is Wednesday on Positively Northwest with John Yeager. And, you know, I could have sworn that Bigfoot smoked unfiltered, but I saw him with the filters.
Lucy, you've seen Bigfoot and Elvis.
Yeah.
Rick, he has. He told me he sat next to him on the UFO.
And we all get to work with you.
Yes, you do. You get paid for it, too.
Oh, weather-wise.
Does Bigfoot really exist? It's one of those questions that gets asked all the time, but some people don't have to ask that question anymore. Up in Whatcom County, John Yeager met some folks who take the legend of Bigfoot seriously. Tonight, we'll meet one man who says he's been a believer in Bigfoot for more than 35 years. Here's tonight's edition of Positively Northwest.
Now we got a whole bunch of kids. We got Bigfoot and Bigfoot, all kinds of sizes of foot.
Here in Glacier, Washington, Bigfoot is a legend.
There's their Bigfoot, and there's their big dragon.
This parade is part of the second annual Bigfoot at Baker Festival.
And here's another Bigfoot.
Yeah, if you're looking for Bigfoot or Sasquatch, you've come to the right place. Of course, if you're looking for a good laugh at the same time, all the better.
there is one person who isn't laughing when it comes to the legend of Bigfoot. That's because Cliff Crook believes that Bigfoot is more than just a legend.
People are either believers or non-believers. And they keep trying to think that I should convince them that Bigfoot exists, but that's not really my job program, really.
Cliff runs a national clearinghouse for Bigfoot sightings called Bigfoot Central. It's based in the Seattle area. The exhibit is a collection of evidence and reports of sightings he's gathered over the years since he made his first sighting back in 1956.
I have never wondered, did I see a human? Did I see a bear? No, I saw a Bigfoot. So I tell it to the world, and the world laughs. And it's been hard to laugh with them. Yeah, I take it as serious as a heart attack. I got a good look at the side of its face, its shoulders. It's a massive creature that...
Cliff Crook will never forget what he saw on a summer night in the glow of a campfire like this.
There's reports on the record that tell of people that have been in shock for actually days for a mere sighting of one.
Sometimes you get the feeling he's out there.
There's been reports that there's been captures, but there's nothing...
Wouldn't it be worth it to kill just one?
No, I don't believe so. I don't think that anything should be killed just to prove it's alive.
Campfires were made for Bigfoot stories, when everything unseen is swallowed by the night.
It stood over 6 foot underbrush.
For Cliff Crook, campfires will never be the same.
And it was nobody in a fursuit. Nobody was hoaxing me out. It was in 1956. It was at night. It was after midnight. It was in the campfire light.
John Yeager, News 4, Positively Northwest.
Not a man or not a bear.
You know, and if you can't get enough of Bigfoot, you're in luck, because we're going to have one more story on Friday. John's got one more story to tell from the Bigfoot Festival in Baker.
Rick, I've been comparing the Bigfoot sightings we've had reported over the last 12 years with the Romaines domain story locations.
We'll be back to
amazing.
It happens whenever somebody brings in a picture they say was taken of Bigfoot. Many of them look like a guy walking around in a furry suit, and in some cases that's true. Well, John Yeager and photographer Jim Bolzer take us up to Mt.Baker's Bigfoot Festival in Whatcom County, where we'll meet a man who knows what it's really like to walk a mile in big feet. Here's tonight's edition of Positively Northwest.
Some questions are better left unasked. So what's your name?
Sasquatch.
You're the guy, huh?
Bigfoot. The authentic. One and only.
Joe Nichols is from Orcas Island and calls himself semi-retired. But he has a job at least once or twice a year when they put on parties like the Bigfoot at Baker Festival here in Glacier, Washington.
It's the second annual Bigfoot at Baker Festival, and there's a big crowd on hand.
The kids love it. The kids love it. I like to work the kids. The older people like it. The skeptics are the young adult, 25-year-old, you know. What's that fool doing in there, you know? Hi there. Hi there. Whoa.
But you have to throw your skepticism out the window when you watch Joe Nichols.
Nice dog. Hi there.
Work a parade as Bigfoot.
You got it?
Because this is all fun for him, despite the rigors of the suit.
2 rubber feet, whole lot of duct tape, set of stilts, ugly looking Band-Aid. That's what hurts right there.
But Joe Nichols gets more than pain out of the Bigfoot deal, especially when they decide to throw a Bigfoot birthday party for him at a local bar.
It's yours! to party. I don't like to go places. I like to garden. And
But you put that on and you're the light.
put this on, and it's completely different. I need a fork.
What do you mean fork?
Well, this is for an 87-year-old lady sitting over there.
How did he start doing this?
Look at that, Grandma. Right at 87.
Everybody else has to get their own. I had the stilts. I was working drywall and working alone and all every day, day after day, and I thought that'd be something else I can do with things besides work. And I thought, gee, the big ape.
Do you believe in Bigfoot?
Not until I see him. And I hope he doesn't get offended by what I've done over the years.
But I had to ask, what will Joe Nichols do when the real, authentic, one and only Bigfoot eventually turns up?
Oh, even then. I mean, who cares?
John Yeager, News 4.
Hey, well, this is the first time I ever interviewed Bigfoot, you know.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, you won't be able to say that again.
Positively Northwest.
I don't know about you guys, but I think I've learned everything I ever wanted to know about Bigfoot.
Yeah, but what do you suppose they smell like when they get wet?
Oh, I'm that thought. We'll see you at 11.
Good night.